Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Boating season is here, and boy, do they have selections for you at Mad Marine in stock right now. Plus deals. G3 boats and Suncatcher pontoons with rebates up to $4,000 on select models that are in stock. That ends May 2nd. So get down there quickly for those deals. Up to $4,000 in rebates. Godfrey pontoons and Hurricane deck boats with rebates up to $2,500 off. That runs through May 31st. Folks, it's very simple. Madisonville Marine, there is no better place to buy a boat in East Tennessee, or in the state of Tennessee for that matter, or in North Georgia, East North Carolina, madmarine.com. All right, defensive lineman Amari McNeil, a former three-star from the state of Georgia, entered the transfer portal from Tennessee this week. So you got one. Not checked it this morning or in the last hour, but one, to my knowledge, is in the – and you have a backup punter as well. But the defensive lineman's the big one. Meanwhile, reports have the Vols making contact with a player who's already in the portal, TCU receiver Jordan Hudson, which is interesting because you kind of like what you've got. They just might not – they might need one more body, I suppose. They only play 3 of these guys regularly on a rotation, but you're only about 7 deep there, so – with injuries, you might want another guy. Obviously, they're talking to somebody. And then earlier this week, Josh Heupel said that he thought the Vols could use a little more experience on the offensive line. So a defensive line has now lost a man. You're talking to a receiver. Josh Heupel even mentioned the offensive line. What's the position of greatest need for Tennessee right now in the portal, Vince?
I'll say offensive lineman, specifically a guard. I'm worried about that left guard spot. I know there's 4 guys competing there, but I still wonder if that's going to be good enough to hold up long term. So, and they have also contacted Wyoming offensive lineman Emmanuel Pregnon, who is from Denver, and he's got a number of SEC schools after him as well. Big kid, like 6'6", 318. So that's where I would go. The thing is, there's only 6 players that are in the top 100 in the On3 rankings that have gone into the portal in the spring. So there's not the wealth of available talent that there was prior to that. So now it's just like kind of more of a best available. That's why they like Hudson, and TCU fits the system for Tennessee.
And at this point, you also can't go get someone from inside the SEC. That has to be done by February whatever. So can't grab somebody who goes in from the SEC if you want them to play this fall. Chuck, position of need.
Is there an edge rusher in there? Because more and more, and even if you look at the NFL draft guys, that has evolved into like a key position. They're hard to find. They're probably not in there. But if I could go find me an edge rusher that can make a difference, I'm going to get him.
Jimmy.
Cornerback.
Still.
They had 23 people that were in defensive backs last year, and they still had concerns. And I don't know if there's a cornerback in there good enough.
Right.
But if you tell me what they need somebody that can stop the pass. So I'm going to go cornerback.
All right. Marlon.
Usually I go defensive line, but I'm going to agree with Vince here. I say offensive line. I think the way college football is trending, the amount of points that's being scored, we got a high-octane offense. We got to be able to protect the quarterback, offensive line.
I agree. I think this team is built on its offense first. I would go offensive line just for the reason you say I want to keep Hooker healthy. I want to keep Milton healthy. And I want to get that run game growing, which I think will also help Joe Milton in his first year as starting quarterback. Well, first full year starting quarterback. He started one before. All right. When we come back, let's flip this over to basketball. Rick Barnes has completely changed the roster. You've got 8 newcomers. We'll look at the roster. We'll look at what that means in terms of scholarship counts. Seems to me you might have one guy that's going to have to be shown the door or nudged toward the transfer portal if I'm counting right. We'll run that by some of the guys here next. Plus, you'll see some video of the transfers who are coming in. Come on back on the Sports Source.